Hello, everyone, and welcome to Who Won the Week, your weekly dose of TV advertising news and analysis. My name is Aaron Taube. I'm EDO's content marketing manager. I am joined once again by the Lone Star State's finest, Will Price. Will, I know you're high on that Dallas Mavericks victory. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be back. I'm glad we're talking NBA. As you know, native Texan in the DFW area, the whole area is going nuts about the Mavs making it to the conference finals. But I know we'll get into that. But yeah, good to be back, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We're sort of in mourning here on the other side of the country in New York. Our beloved Knicks have fallen to the despicable Indiana Pacers and some really nasty injuries. But I think we're all proud of our boys. Good to see the Knicks back in the zeitgeist. Hopefully they'll be healthy next year and back for more. But yeah, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA playoffs. And last week we talked a little bit about the first half of the TV Upfronts week. This week we'll talk about some of the TV companies that presented in the second half of the week. So that'll be kind of what we got on tap today. So I suppose let's dive into it. Will, what are it's been a big week of NBA playoffs, a lot of excitement, it's a couple of game sevens. What brands are really capitalizing on these playoffs right now? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean the level of gameplay has just been phenomenal. Several closeout games in the past week. Brands have to be really excited about their performance in these games. I think a few that stand out. One of them is Gatorade. I'm old enough to remember a time when bottled water was like a what? We're paying for bottled water, and now we've evolved so far that where obviously it's everywhere. And Gatorade has been promoting their Gatorade water, so infused electrolytes and high performance water, and they got people interested. People are curious. People are diving in, trying to understand what Gatorade water is about. Their performance on ESPN, when we dive into our data, they're 434% more effective than their average brand performance. So the NBA just is a perfect environment for Gatorade. On the other side of that, sort of is Arby's. Arby's is doing really well in the same type of programming. NBA on ESPN. Arby's has been promoting free chicken or free sandwich month, and they very cleverly in order to drive engagement, have encouraged people to go online to secure their free sandwich every week in the month of April. Arby's ads on ESPN have outperformed by 149% when compared to their past performance. So when we talk about categories like QSR, where the idea of driving that foot traffic and getting people interested in new products and limited time offers, Arby's really nailed it with this one.
Yeah, that's how you do it. I think that's the funnel right there, baby. That's just good marketing.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about one advertiser that's doing really well on ESPN and ABC, the Disney family of networks, and as we know right now, the NBA playoffs are also airing on TNT, Warner Brothers Discovery, and one brand that is really doing great there is New Balance. Their ads on TNT during the NBA playoffs have outperformed the average brand during these playoffs on TNT by 365%. And I think what New Balance is doing has been really interesting right now. I think they're really sort of they're trying to break into basketball. They're loading up on these really exciting young up and coming stars. Their ads right now are featuring Tyrese Maxey from the Sixers, Cameron Brink from the WNBA, Jamal Murray from the Nuggets, and really sort of highlighting these cool up and coming stars. They're taking advantage of the NBA, which is a real cultural leader in this country. I was listening to Bomani Jones's show the other day, and he was talking about how everybody loves the NFL, but if you like the NBA or the WNBA, you're kind of hip. And so I think that's a really good place for New Balance to be. Um, and they're doing other ads, non-basketball, featuring people like Shohei Ohtani and Coco Gauff, who's been really great in a lot of their ads previously. Really won the U.S. Open recently. So um, yeah, I think what they're doing is really exciting. And I know we've also seen, speaking of up and coming stars, Anthony Edwards has been perhaps the breakout star of these NBA playoffs, and he's in an ad for Bose that's doing very well. Well, can you tell me a little bit about what Bose is doing with Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, my beloved Mavericks are going up against the Timberwolves with their star Anthony Edwards, and it's hard not to like this guy. He's, like you said, he is the breakout star of the season. I think now that he's in the conference finals, he has a platform. I think more and more people are going to fall in love with him. So I think it's a smart move by Bose of securing him as a talent, as a spokesperson. But Bose has really nailed it with this one. As you mentioned, NBA is this cultural leader. People follow the walk-ins to the games is almost like its own fashion show as we see players come in. And Bose has a new, really interesting product. It is a sort of clip-on earpiece headphone. So I think it gets a lot of people curious about just that whole use of a headset. So they had found a lot of success at getting people to search out Bose during these games. In that spot featuring Anthony Edwards, Bose has outperformed their own brand by 650%. So they have absolutely crushed it in our metrics of getting people to seek out Bose during NBA programming. And if we look at one of their most successful airings was during a New York Knicks Philadelphia Sixers game on April 28th. They drove what we refer to as an ad multiplier. So we can look at how many spots would they have to buy in a certain day part to generate the same level of search engagement as a singular airing in a program. And that one airing during that game drove an ad multiplier of 174. So the way we look at that is it would have taken Bose 174 ads in primetime broadcasting cable to get the same level of engagement as they got in that one single game. So if I'm a representative from Bose, if I'm on the marketing team, I'm stoked because I get to go back to my CFO and let them know that what we paid for that spot was nowhere near the monetary value of engagement that we got out of it. We have some estimated spend figures on our side. And from where we see it, it looks like they got about $1.4 million in added value out of that spot. And they paid nowhere near that for that game, that placement. So a huge win for the Bose team, launching a new product, tapping into a talent like Anthony Edward, who is just going to only get brighter and bigger after this series. So huge kudos to that team.
Yeah, good for Bose. Trying to think of a cool segue, but I don't have one. It's been great talking about the NBA playoffs, and Upfronts was a big week. I think we're really, really across all of these. We'll touch on some of the individual presentations in a moment, but I think across all of these presentations, we really saw a tipping point in terms of the convergence of streaming and linear TV. Um, like for me, it's no longer, and our CEO Kevin has an op-ed coming out about this, but it's sort of the distinction between what is a streamer and what is a network is kind of just sort of going out the window in terms of all of the networks like Disney are focusing heavily on their streaming platforms like Hulu. All of the streamers are piling up on live TV, live sports content that have traditionally been, the provenance of the networks, and so it's really a fascinating time where everyone's kind of playing the same game now, where the convergent TV companies that were rooted in linear are piling up on tech and streaming capabilities and targeting, and the tech companies are really adding that live TV content that gets people glued to the screen and keeps them watching through the ad breaks. So yeah, let's dive into it. WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, a lot of focus on Max. What did you see there?
Yeah, something for WBD that stood out was their focus on brand integration. So WBD, they talk about the WBD effect. They have a great portfolio of really fan favorites and love talent. Anyone from Joanna and Chip to Bobby Flay and Guy Fieri, and just finding a way to cut through and sort of involve brands into the programming. I think is a really smart move and can be really interesting of getting people to discover your brand while they enjoy the shows that they love and the talent that they love.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big one. Another thing we saw was Netflix bringing on the NFL Christmas Day slate and also building their own ad tech. What do you make of that?
I think it's a huge win for Netflix, and that's another step of them securing appointment set viewing and live sports. So Christmas Day NFL, it's a great, perfect Formula One that the NBA has experienced for many years, and now NFL comes to the mix, and now Netflix is going to own that and driving people to their platform. So it's going to be huge for them. Excited to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, it just feels like it gets getting to the point where if you're a big sports fan, you're better off just getting a subscription than going out to the bar for wings and beers every couple weeks.
Yeah.
And we saw that too. YouTube adding local market WNBA games for viewers who are in market. They've got a new, it's always been about for YouTube. They've always had the audience, and it's about how can they connect brands to the top, the premium content on the site. And they've added this YouTube Select Creator Takeover, where you can buy sort of full share of voice um, on a creator page, like the New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers. So that was fascinating, and then uh, Disney was just a star-studded show, man. It was just, Emma Stone and Jimmy Kimmel and Kerry Washington and Ryan Reynolds, just one after another. It was really sort of really got a taste of the breadth of the Disney star power, and also it was really interesting to see the way Hulu was front and center. Their presentation started with the sort of sketch of the different Hulu characters talking out of their, the box, you know, the selection boxes in the user interface. Um, so yeah, really, really exciting upfronts. Really seeing, you know, the full convergent TV is here, and it's time to start living in that world. And I suppose we'll see how negotiations go. Do you have any thoughts? I know you're a big auto guy. What do you think we'll see from the auto brands and upfronts? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think continued live sports presence. Like you mentioned, the sort of combination of TV, movies, and streaming and convergent TV just all coming together and having to make the decisions across those two channels, and really just it's TV. Like it's coming down to where we're just looking at it as TV, and a busy season for us because now that the upfronts have concluded, we are heavy into helping our partners with their upfront planning, with all of our metrics to help them know what works based on historical and competitive performance. So, a busy and exciting time for us as we sort of move forward and start our planning process.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us during your busy season. We always appreciate it, Will. And folks, we'll see you next week. I guess hopefully some more NBA, maybe some more NBA playoffs talk, maybe a look at the WNBA. It's really exciting start to the season. It'd be very fascinated to see how the ad impact is growing year over year now that the league is red hot. And yeah, that's who won the week for this week. We'll see you next week.